our dreams of getting a brand new Banjo Kazooie might actually be dead. It sucks to say, but Grant Kirkhope, who's a composer who's worked on basically every Rare game ever made, and he's the guy responsible for making all the great music that you love, you know, every Banjo song, every Donkey Kong song, every Conker's Bad Fur Day music, that's him. And while he's been discussing the Banjo Kazooie 25th anniversary, he pretty much said that he doesn't think anybody would actually care about a new Banjo game and that there's just no audience for it. I don't know why he thinks that, maybe he's a psycho, but he even said that Rare's creative director, Greg Mayles, basically who's like the guy who's behind the scenes controlling the whole franchise, that he doesn't want to go back and do something that they've done before, and that he feels like they've just done everything that they can do with Banjo, and that even if they did try and do something, there'd be nobody willing to actually play it.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
I think that's f***ing crazy. Because, I mean, as much as this guy is saying, like, been there, done that, or whatever, I think there's a whole generation of people that would love a new Banjo, and I think there's a brand new generation of people that experience Banjo for the first time in Super Smash, and they would love a new Banjo game, especially if it comes out being like a killer platformer. You know, especially in a world right now where games exist like the new Spyro that's doing really well, the new Crash that's doing really well. We have games like A Hat in Time. We have games like Yooka-Laylee. There is clearly an audience out there for these types of games. People want collectathon type games. And if you give us a new Banjo with a killer soundtrack, people will lose their bonkers for it. The other thing that these people don't seem to understand for some reason is like whether there's an audience realistically or not, you can create and cultivate your own audience, especially by releasing a brand new Banjo game on the Switch, which is something that Microsoft would 100% do if they had a new Banjo game coming. It would for sure come out on the Switch, and they know for a fact that if you release a game on the Switch, it's gonna sell the best that any game has ever sold. That's the power of the Switch, baby! You release a game on Switch and it will be guaranteed your highest selling game in that series so far because Switch just does numbers. It does numbers like nobody's business, and that's the power of the Switch. And realistically, that's the power of Banjo. There are so many people out there that are waiting for a new Banjo game. I mean, for God's sakes, it's the 25th anniversary and people are talking about it because they want more. If nobody cared, they wouldn't care that it's the 25th anniversary. It would come and go and nobody would even blink an eye, you know what I'm saying? And now there's people out there, there's devs out there, that maybe it's not going to be developed by Rare because maybe Rare doesn't actually care about the series anymore, and that's fine because I feel like a lot of people also kind of don't care about Rare right now either. Most of the people at Rare who actually worked on these games don't work there anymore, so does it really matter that that team is still the people making it? I don't think so. You shouldn't think so. They're not the same people, so it doesn't even matter. Like, and this is one of the benefits of Microsoft actually purchasing Activision. If Microsoft gets Activision, they're gonna get studios like Toys for Bob. They're gonna get Beanox. These are the studios that are behind Crash Bandicoot and Spyro Revival. These are the types of people that will bring back Banjo and make Banjo good again. So it seems like Microsoft is just waiting for the right opportunity to hand off Banjo to somebody who could actually do something important with it and actually make the game count in a way that matters. Because right now, it feels like they have two big studios to bring them down to this kind of level and work on something this kind of small. But at the same time, I don't even think that, because why not get a killer studio to work on a killer Banjo and make Banjo Microsoft's own version of Mario? Like, why not have a mascot character like that with this amazing type of platformer type collectathon games, and you just make Banjo your guy? Because definitely Master Chief is not Microsoft's guy anymore. Nobody cares about Master Chief. Halo is dead and gone. Marcus Phoenix is on his way out with Gears. So what's next to take your place? You gotta bring in Banjo. People want Banjo. And I think it's at the point where it's like there are devs for sure that would line up and there would be an absolutely huge market for it. Huge! Huge! And yeah, and that's the benefit of it being on Microsoft and with Xbox. They would know for a fact that it doesn't need to stay exclusively on Xbox. It could be something that's also on the Switch or the Switch 2 or whatever it is. And it'll sell an unlimited amount of copies. People would go bananas for Banjo.
Give me that.
What?
Give me that.
Banjo Kazooie and Banjo Tour are considered two of the best platformers ever made. People love them. People still talk about them. It's been 25 years and people still talk about them. So of course they would talk about a third one. I mean, and we're pretending that Nuts and Bolts doesn't exist because, I mean, it's such a game that's so different than what people were expecting that people don't even really want to remember it. People don't want to care about it. So let's just not care about it and let's talk about what could be done in the right hands. Like, give it to the devs that made A Hat in Time. Why not? Give it to the people that made Yooka-Laylee. Those are basically the people that made the original Banjo Kazooie, so they would probably know what works best with that kind of game. Yooka-Laylee was a good game. It had some issues, but it was a good game. So why not just give it to them and make an even better game? And I think with Microsoft having so many studios at their disposal, they know for a fact that they can do something like this. And they could honestly even get Double Fine to do something like this. Like, you know, there's a lot of people at Microsoft's disposal that could take over Banjo and bring Banjo back in a big, big way. And especially if they do some sort of double deal with Nintendo and make Banjo huge again, it would be massive. It's very weird that the devs at Rare feel like there's no market for it because it's just 100% wrong. There's absolutely a market for it. There's a market for the weirdest possible games. There's a market for the tiniest, smallest indie games that nobody expects. And then, of course, there's a market for this. It's Banjo. He was like the most hyped character to ever come out of Smash Bros. And now you think that people won't want to play a game with him? What are you smoking? Are you smoking the same type of crack that Phil Spencer's smoking at Microsoft? Because I don't know what you're even talking about here. 100% a brand new Banjo game would be massive. Whether it launched exclusively on Game Pass, or it was a Nintendo Switch exclusive, or it came out on both at the exact same time, it would be huge.
I'd buy that for $1.
They don't even have to make it a platformer collectathon. They could literally make it a side scroller and do a whole new thing and make it kind of like Donkey Kong Country, except make it with Banjo, and it would be insane. People would go crazy for it. I would go crazy for it.
Are you ready to go crazy?
I'm already hearing voices!
Like you're by them saying that they don't think that there's a possibility here, it feels like they're just discounting a lot of people that would literally lose their minds for something like this. Like Double Fine would literally knock a Banjo game out of the park. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even matter if there's actually a direct audience, and it doesn't even really matter if that they're like pivoting and just only appealing to the people who know Banjo, because it doesn't even matter. All you have to do is make a good game that looks good, is fun, has a unique art style, and has creative juice in it. You know, give it that creative juice, give it the juice, and you got a game on your hands, my man. That's all it is. People will play it regardless. You don't need to be a Banjo fan. You don't need to be a Rare fan. You don't need to have this nostalgia type connection to this game. It could be a brand new game that just works and is just good. So give it the goods, you know what I'm saying? Banjo is not dead. You're making Banjo dead by pretending it doesn't exist, but he could exist. He could exist in this landscape. He could exist in any landscape. If Mario games come out and continuously do well, why can't a Banjo game come out and do well? There's no excuse. The excuse is that you tried to do something differently with Banjo before by making Banjo nuts and bolts, and it was a big mistake. It's been many years. Let's try again. Try it again, but try it better, and let's do something good. Let's make Banjo good. Why not? Why not? There's so many possibilities. Why not? Let's just give somebody a chance with Banjo, and let's bring Banjo back, because I don't want to hear that Banjo's dead. I don't want to hear that there's no audience for Banjo. There is. I'm the audience. I'll buy it. I'll play it. Make the game for me. Let's see Banjo.